Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at Counterattack in the form of improvement hit at 100% in the hidden potential system. So we've managed to take a look at hit at various percentages, and honestly 55% was very impressive. The real goal now is to take a look at them at 100% and see how big a difference that makes, and it makes quite a sizable difference. I'm sure, as everyone can imagine, whenever you have a unit that is stacking at such a phenomenally high rate, it is always something that, really is impressive. Now, a hit, depending on how far you go with him, is a scaling unit. And he scales a lot because he does a lot of super attacks. So it's very difficult to say, this is the max of hit. Like, if you take him into the Festival of Battles event, and you get to like turn 15, 16, 17, hit can exceed like 100 million, like depending on how many super attacks he gets. It's just how he functions. So a lot of it depends on your luck and RNG, but at the same time, RNG can also fail you. So it's just one of those things. All in all, yes, there are times where hit will be caught out. Yes, if evasion is disabled, it is a problem. But aside from those moments, I think hit is an incredibly consistent, incredibly good unit that is very well done. So obviously base form, Universe 6, Rapid Growth, Accelerated Battle, Key +3, HP 200%, 170% attack defense, 50% for tournament participants or super bosses category. Raises attack and defense permanently. And then in terms of passive, activates entrance animation when there are another 2 or more tournament participants, category allies, or another Universe 6 category ally on the team upon its entry. You'll get 20% extra evasion, defense of 160%, and launch an additional super attack for 6 turns. His basic effects in this base: Key +2, attack and defense of 200%, high chance of crit, high chance of evasion, and additional super attack with a additional attack, great chance of super. When attacking a 12 or more key, 100% attack and defense. For every attack performed, 60% attack. For every attack received or evaded, defense of 60% and additional 6% evasion chance. Every time he performs 3 or more super attacks, debuffs the enemy, seals them, and interrupts them. And if they are in attack down, defense down, stun, or sealing, he will get 60% up attack, and attacks guaranteed to hit. Supreme Warrior, Experienced Fighters, Cold Judgment, Infighter, Shocking Speed, Warriors of Universe 6, Fierce Battle, Accelerated Battle, Legendary Existence, Rapid Growth, Spanish Traveling Warriors, Space Traveling Warriors, Super Bosses, Tournament Participants, and Universe 6 as his links and categories. Active skill can be activated after you perform 6 more attacks, or after he's evaded 3 or more attacks. Generally, you get the evasion one a lot sooner than you do the evade. Once transformed, he greatly raises attack and defense with a high chance of stunning. He has Key +3, attack and defense of 260%, 70% chance of crit, 70% chance of evasion, guaranteed additional super, an additional attack that is a 70% chance of becoming a super. Attacks guaranteed to hit, debuffs the enemy, seals the enemy. When attacking with 12 or more key, attack and defense of 160%, interrupts the enemy's attack. For every attack performed, attack of 66% up within the turn. For every attack received or evaded, defense up of 66%, and 6% additional evasion chance within the turn. When all allies are Universe 6, he will force all super attacks. When receiving an attack from an enemy who is hit by his super attack, he will have an increased evasion chance. So what that means is hit has 70% evasion chance. If hit hits the enemy with his super attack, you'll have an 86% evasion chance. Pretty good. If hit evades anything, you add 6%. So basically he can be 70, 76, 82, 88, hits him with the super, then he can't be hit by them. It's very impressive. What's also important to take note, basically, about hit is his scalability in terms of damage. You will notice often in showcases of hit that he may start a turn after building up at like 20 million. Hit will then end up at like 35 million, because the way the 66% works in terms of attack, it increases his attack quite substantially, very substantially. Best linking partners for hit are hit himself. He can link with himself once transformed. Alternatively, other hits in base form. Alternatively, Paiku Hans and Hit and Goku. And then you kind of get a bunch of Jirens. So really, there's a decent roster of units for him to link to. But I'd probably say either link him with himself, with Hit or Goku once they get the EZA, or if you can somehow swing it with Jiren. In terms of build, mainly additionals. Evasion is also fine, crit is also fine, but just focus on additionals, and then spare you can put wherever. Maybe evasion if you want to make him as defensively sound as possible. All in all, it's a very, very simple unit, a very easy unit, a very great unit. Scales well, good evasion, good damage. His cons, pretty much he's just on limited teams. His link set's also a little bit wonky, very, very peculiar, only links well with 2 or 3 character archetypes. I think the biggest caveat with him is that, when there is no evasion, until he's built up his defense, he can take damage. Like, it is not impossible for him to take damage. He needs to have an environment where he can evade. Even with his 5 million defense, like you'll see after active skill, he has 5 million defense. He can still die. Can still die to bosses and things like that. So you need to give him the environment to work. It's not impossible to do so because there's plenty of tools to work around it, and he doesn't need the evasion to be great. But the evasion helps. The evasion helps a lot, especially if you're running double hit and you want to use him as a pseudo first star tank. The evasion helps a lot. It's actually quite pivotal. His active skill, very helpful, does a lot of good work. Basically, it's a Ghost Usher plus a good chunk of damage as well, which I think is very, very solid. So yeah, in general, I would say Hit is really, really good. I think he's really good. I think he's really reliable. I think he's a very, very well-designed unit that does an exceptional amount of work. And I think most players will be happy with Hit overall. I just don't think there'll be any massive issues with Hit. That would just be for me. I don't really have an issue with him. I think he's great. I love using him. So yeah, for me, there's not a massive concern. Overall, I would have to say I think he's very well done. I think he's very, very solid, and I think it's just done incredibly good. Let me know what you think about Hit. Have you used him? Have you not? Do you have dupes in him? I think compared to 55%, of course, there's a huge improvement, but I do think he's usable at both 55% and he's a powerhouse at 100%. So yeah.